Hello, everyone out there in Internet Radio Land. This is Bobcat.
And I'm Burke.
Welcome to our rousing Part 30 of our 30-part podcast series about anime about introverted characters.
Yeah, do you think they're ever going to see those other ones? Because, I was a teenage barfly. It's kind of a racy subject.
It was. I mean, and we did do the obvious thing. We did finally review Evangelion for real.
Yeah, and then the movies, including the movie that hasn't come out yet. Can't believe they gave us special access.
I know, right? I mean, gosh, they must have thought that we were Yeso Otaku or something.
I guess. Can't believe that Shinji is god of the moon.
I know, and then he has a lightsaber duel with Goku on Mars. I mean,
Well,
that
look,
turned awesome.
Look, Goku is the god of Mars. We already been over this. Come on. We discussed that during Dragon Ball Z, the emo editions. Starring Oolong.
Yes, Oolong, the greatest action star ever.
Uh,
Alright, folks, in all seriousness, we're back. It's been a year.
Over!
More than a year.
Though it could be less. You don't know when we're recording this. It's certainly not 9:38 at the 9th of June 2014 on a Monday.
Nope, it could be any date.
Yeah. I could be lying.
Which you have been known to do. But in all seriousness, it's good to be back. Basically, at the same exact time, we got busy. Too busy to even consider recording.
Yeah.
I've been working 2 jobs. And
You slacker.
I know, right? I mean, I could have totally been doing this as a 3rd job. How dare I, want to sleep.
And I have been doing other things, mostly real-life related crap, but I've also been part of another podcast that is of dubious quality. I'm sure you'll never hear one of those guys on this one.
Oh, certainly not. They aren't allowed.
Nope. Brand restrictions, I'm sorry.
Alright. So, in all actuality, we decided, and this was kind of a funny coincidence, a friend of the show, Mad Shadow, who was here for our review of Bartender, sort of pointed me to this show called Watamote, and that's what we're reviewing this week. So it actually is kind of a theme of extreme reclusivity, necessity.
That's the last 2 anime we reviewed. Wasn't it?
No. Bartender wasn't about recluse.
Okay, I don't count Bartender as a show.
It was an advertisement for the margarita made of pure
not even
tequila.
A good one. That was boring as all hell. It's boring now, and it's been a year.
Yeah, but we had a lot of fun.
Because Mad Shadow was an excellent host.
Yes, we'll certainly have to have him back on. So the actual name of the show is Watashi ga Motenai no Wado Kangaitemo Omara Gai Warui, which I'm sure I've butchered horribly. It
From
actually
this point
means
on, Bobcat will be doing all of his lines in broken Japanese. You are welcome.
Sugoi. No, but the actual show means no matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular. The smart Japanese fans, in the interest of their fingers, have shortened it to Watamote, since that's the characters of the first 2 words of the title.
And we all thank them very much, even if I still refuse to say that name.
Yes. So what will you be calling this show, Burke?
The world ends with her.
So let's talk a little bit about... Actually, okay, so here's me. This may be someone's first review, so... 5-point podcast.
We have new 5 points.
Yes. We look at the first 3 episodes of a show.
Sometimes.
Usually an anime. Occasionally we'll go past. Occasionally we'll do a movie. And we decide, based on our sort of gut first impressions, would we recommend this to you? Who would we recommend it to? What did we like about it? What didn't we like about it? And if it really earns our rage, this may go on for a while.
Hopefully not, though. We're trying to keep these under 20 minutes.
Or at least under 30 minutes, you know.
Yeah. You know, we want to match the anime.
Right, it should not take you less time to watch 3 episodes of the show than to hear us talk about 3 episodes of the show.
Yes. Doesn't count if you start fast forwarding.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about what our new 5 points are. After listening to pretty much every single episode of it at least once in the course of re-uploading it from Blip to Dailymotion, putting all the Dailymotion episodes where the Blip episodes were in various places online, a process I am still only about a third of the way through by my rough estimate. Ugh. Curse you, Blip. Just curse you. We kind of decided to rejigger how some of it works. So our new 5 points are: point 1, first impressions. What had we ever heard about it? What kind of baggage were we coming into it with?
Oh, I should start taping mine.
Point 2 is premise, which is kind of, you know, if we were pitching it in a Hollywood studio situation, how would we quickly describe it? Point 3, story and characters, which were formerly 2 points that we decided to merge together because it's really friggin' hard to talk about just the characters or just the story without them intermingling anyway.
Yeah, often we ended up just talking about the plot during the characters, or we ended up talking about the characters during the plot.
Right, now of course this is one week when we could have probably kept them reasonably separate, but we'll get to that in a minute. Point 4, production, which is pretty much the old presentation but with a better name.
I disagree. That's because I like S's.
Well, they do sound cool. That and X's.
Yes. Presentation.
And that is pretty much anything related to the, well, production of the show that isn't the characters in the story. You know, our chance to talk about animation, music, dubbing, DVD extras if I happen to buy a DVD, which I never do anymore.
Voice acting. Just, you know, in general.
Things that really jumped out at us.
Yeah.
And then point 5 is final thoughts. Which is did we like it? Why didn't we like it? Who would we recommend it to?
Well, that's going to be easy to answer this week.
Yeah. And then occasionally we have point number 6, which is comparison if there's a well-known existing media. Like, say, if we reviewed the new Godzilla movie, we would probably talk a little bit about Godzilla King of the Monsters, or just the original Japanese Godzilla.
Or just Godzilla franchise as a whole and how it's mutated. Or, you know, to be topical, if, say, we decided to dedicate a month to a specific anime that also had live-action adaptations, we could dedicate an entire special to comparisons.
Right. I mean, we've never done that before. Cutie honey.
That'd be silly. Also, a shocking thing. Complete, like, total retcon, amendum to the Cutie Honey special. New favorite theme song for Cutie Honey is the English version of the Cutie Honey theme song from new Cutie Honey. Meaning that it is officially my favorite Cutie Honey overall. This is mostly because this theme song is not about how sexy she is.
Which I almost see as a betrayal of the original intent of the song, but that's why we're different people. If we were clones of each other, this would be the most boring review show ever. This is a great song. I agree.
I don't know. Clones of Don Knotts would probably be interesting.
Well, Andy, this show's about perverts who like little girls.
And I'm okay with that.
Oh.
I didn't say they're perfect clones.
All right, so Bizarro Don Knotts aside, let's get on to point number 1 for Watamote. So, Burke, did you have any exposure to this before?
No. Okay, folks, we had this whole schedule planned out. We had, like, Captain Earth and Kanokon and all this other crap. Sailor Moons. multiple Sailor Moons, so many Sailor Moons. We had all this crap planned out. And then, like, yesterday, Bobcat came to me and said, hey, we're doing this girly anime with the girl.
I said, we should do this, and you said, okay.
Yeah. So, my entire experience of this anime was, what the hell? I'm ignoring you, Bobcat. I'm clicking your link. Shut up. Oh, she kind of looks like Detective Conan. Sort of. Like that style. Oh. Holy crap!
So, my exposure to this was Mad Shadow helped point me at it, and I had heard about it a little bit before, and what I had heard about it made me a little bit apprehensive, because I heard that this series was beloved on 4chan of all places, and that they had lobbied hard to get it brought over to the US.
Yeah, I can see that.
And of course, anything that 4chan likes is usually kind of terrible.
Oh, you know.
On the other hand...
My Little Pony joke.
Yeah.
We're rolling. Hey guys, remember when Bobcat used to be a brony? Things changed.
Things changed. Stupid fandom. Stupid Fluttershy. Being ruined.
What's funny is, I could make so many Fluttershy jokes about this character.
Yes, and I actually may make that comparison in a minute, but let's get into point number 2, the pitch.
Okay, so you remember Welcome to the NHK and The World Ends With You?
And The World God Only Knows.
Oh, Sorry, I'm thinking of a much better game about an antisocial loser who puts on headphones to drown out. Jesus Christ!
It's an epidemic, I tells you.
That's actually true, but ignoring that, the plight of Japan aside, basically this is like their twisted love child in that it's taking place in a very realistic world, but it's also like, oh god, the main character.
Alright, so here's the pitch. You have a teenage girl who is the worst kind of otaku. She can't talk to anybody without great effort. She hates the world, but she wants the world to accept her the way that they do in her games. She is trying desperately to be popular in high school, and the poor girl has no idea how to do it properly, so she keeps doing it improperly for comedic results.
Yeah. That's about it. Add in, a best friend who is there, and a brother who really deserves better.
Yeah.
And you have your show.
Yep. Alright, so...
Not a very deep show.
No. Well, it is a very deep show, but it's not deep because of what's the layers of intricate plot.
It's not a high-concept show, okay? I'll use the technical term.
Right, this is character-based. So let's get to point 3, story and characters.
Okay, so there's this thing called a Yu. It's around. She's blonde. Who cares?
Right. What Burke is referring to is how in one episode Yu meets up with her friend from middle school, and it's a big plot twist, and I don't really want to talk about it because...
You know what it is.
Right, you can see it coming a mile away, but I like the show enough that I don't want to necessarily spoil that.
Yeah. So, I'm saving the meaty one for the last.
Right.
The brother character, who has the same name as his sister, except with an I instead of an O at the end. I wonder what that's supposed to mean. I'm not really sure. He's popular. He's outgoing. He seems to somewhat care for his sister. Enough to get sick for her anyways. But I'm confused about the bags under his eyes.
It seems to be a family trait. And that actually is sort of a good transition to her herself.
Yes.
Because, okay, this show, to get a little bit to final thoughts here, this show lives or dies by how you respond to Tomoko. If you don't like her at all, or if you like her the wrong way, or you hate her the wrong way, this show has nothing for you.
Yeah.
So Tomoko, the thing to understand about Tomoko, and I've thought a little bit about who I would compare her to. I would say that of all the characters we looked at, the closest character is the guy from Welcome to the NHK.
Mm-hmm.
She cannot talk with people. And then she goes off and is angry at them for the fact that she can't talk with them.
Yeah, often insulting them in vulgar ways. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, say... Again, I don't necessarily want to spoil a lot of the jokes because, they're jokes. If you see them coming, or you've heard them before, they don't have the punch.
Yeah.
So let's say we're talking... Let's say she's walking by a... Let's say she's walking by a Jiffy Lube one day.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees that there's a teenage girl there manning the check stand, talking with one of the...
Hot boys.
Right. Tomoko's inner monologue would go something like this. Oh, look at that slut. I bet that she likes to suck dipstick.
Yeah. Then she'll keep going on and on about how they need to shut up. And then she'll have a very fetishistic, And then she'll have a very fetishistic fantasy about getting her clothes stripped off and having sex with lots of boys.
Right. The poor girl. The thing I've concluded about her is that...
She's very broken.
She's very broken. Okay, some of you may remember I've mentioned before that I work as a substitute teacher. The professional substitute teacher in me cries inside for this girl. Because, frankly, she is leaving red flags all over the place. Someone in her life, at her school, at home, someone needs to notice that, obviously we're not going to see her inner monologue from the outside, but someone should notice this girl can't talk to people at all.
No.
It's not even that she's nervous about figures in authority. She just doesn't have friends. She must have terrible grades considering that she never seems to do any homework.
Yeah. The moment she gets home, when she eventually gets home, she just plays H games on her 3DS. Didn't know they had those.
Oh yeah, it's Japan. You can... Yeah.
It's Japan. But yeah, she plays H games and listens to her MP3 player and torments her brother on hours on end.
Yeah. I mean, she threatens suicide in the first episode.
Twice!
It's... My heart goes out to this character.
Yeah.
And yet, simultaneously, at the same time, she is terrible, and my opinion of her just keeps ping-ponging between, like I think I mentioned before, she is the worst kind of otaku. She just deserves everything she gets. The world is right to reject her. And that poor little thing, she doesn't know. Come on. Won't somebody please just break through the shell? Come on.
At the very least, take a shower and fix your hair.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and the funny thing is, to compare her to another character we've reviewed before, take Keima from The World God Only Knows. Keima from The World God Only Knows has given up on reality years ago. He lives strictly for his games and in his games. So technically, he's more broken than Tomoko, because Tomoko at least cares about the outside world and what the outside world thinks of her.
Well, she cares about the outside world paying attention to her without her having to do anything.
Right. But you know what I mean. Like, she wants to interact with the outside world. She just has no idea what the rules are and how to do it properly. And yet, that's her problem. Keima, by being more broken, is a more satisfied, happy person.
Because he is content. She is a ball of nerves.
Yeah. The comparison to Fluttershy is that in the later episodes of My Little Pony, they changed Fluttershy from the cute, quiet one to the cute, quiet one who's actually an unfettered ball of rage and hate, ready to explode at any moment.
Yeah. That's a good message for kids.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that is Tomoko to a T. She
Yeah.
hates the world. She wants the world to love her. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't. She may have occasionally have some idea of what to do, but she doesn't want to do it.
She doesn't want to put the effort forward to actually see it through.
Right. I mean, because she's good at coming up with big pie in the sky plans, but the actual follow through always fails.
Yeah. And again, she looks like she needs a shower.
Right.
Seriously, your mom is going to get arrested or something.
I know. Why does her mom keep giving her money?
I don't know.
She's always able to buy her H games and stuff.
Well, she did, like, fantasize about stealing all their wallets. Maybe that was more than just a fantasy. But yeah, the plot of these episodes, the reason why we're not really going into it as much is purely because the plot of these episodes is about the character. And you can pretty much guess what the plots are from this character. Like,
Right.
she gets stuck at a McDonald's, and her classmates are in there. She doesn't want to be seen, so she tries to adopt the hot personality she developed, which is horrifying looking.
Yes. Also, she's even judgmental about hamburgers. Apparently she had never had a hamburger before and thought they were for idiots and little kids, and then realized, I love this!
Metaphor for the whole show.
Pretty much, yeah. I was just about to say that. Like, that's Tomoko in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And I think that gets us to, everything we need for point 3.
Huh.
So let's do point 4 real quick.
Okay. The animation of this is... I'm not sure if it's entirely intentional. This doesn't look like it had the biggest budget in the world, but it's very pleasant and technically correct. But it does look like a lower budget anime.
Right. You can see little things where they cheap out, and there's little stylistic things that their intention, like they don't draw people's eyes a lot.
Yeah.
Which is kind of metaphorical for them being, from Tomoko's point of view, just puppets in the world or whatever. Like they aren't real people. They're just things that exist around her.
Yeah.
But also, the fact that makes it easier to draw, that's just a coincidence.
Then, of course, there's all the rampant scenes where everything just turns totally gray, so they don't have to animate anything.
Yeah. With little snippets of Tomoko imagining herself in different anime with higher budgets.
Oh, yeah. So, oh, God. We're back to Baka and Test.
I would say overall, nothing was an actual derp.
No. Not like Baka and Test. But it's that same basic idea. Save the budget for the genre shift.
Yeah. But still, it's pleasant to watch. And pleasant is a good word. Which is really funny considering what kind of things we're watching, like her perving out over everyone.
Or her vomiting all the time.
It happens more often than...
I don't know why it happens so much.
Apparently she's sick inside as well as outside.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Which brings us to another piece of the art decisions. The character constantly has these really ugly-looking bags under her eyes.
Yeah.
Which,
I think the implication is she stays up all night playing her games.
Which, yeah, that would make sense. It's an interesting stylistic choice because without that, her character would just look kind of scruffy and cute.
Mm-hmm.
That little imperfection... We've talked before about how some shows, like, say, Real Samurai Girl, Real About High School, will have a character claim that they aren't cute, but they're actually adorable.
Yeah.
This show can kind of have its cake and eat it too, because Tomoko is cute, but she has that obvious imperfection.
Lack of hygiene?
I was going to say the huge bags under the eyes that are always there.
A lack of hygiene also does not help.
Right. So they did a good job with that. It's just the right decision to make the character not ugly to look at, but you understand, okay, this character is not actually an ideal person, which is hard to do with a very simplified art style.
Yeah.
Which brings us to... let's talk a little about the music.
No, the music's actually pretty good this time around. It lends a lot of energy to some of the scenes.
And it's discordant in just the right ways, because, this show is all about being off.
Weird, off-kilter. But, sometimes it can be very, very happy, and then the reality sets in.
And it slows down.
Yeah.
One of the songs, I swear, is played on a vinyl record that they've intentionally damaged.
The opening theme in particular is an interesting contrast, because the beginning is screamo music, and then just switches to regular Japanese pop.
With still little bits of that screamo music still in it.
Yes. And then the ending theme is just Japanese pop.
Sung off-key.
Yes.
The music in this show really heightens the mood in just the perfect way.
Almost enough to make someone watch 12 episodes of it.
I know. I mean, who would possibly buy the series on Xbox Music or Xbox Video because you wanted to support it, and then immediately run out and buy the manga? What kind of weirdo would do that?
A very weird one. That's disapproval.
The other thing about this is that I think the last piece of production here is the voice acting.
Yeah. She has a great voice actress, especially if she's the one who does all the alt reality, whatever the hell her name is.
Tomoko, yeah. It's just, yeah. I have the Wikipedia page. Let's see if voiced by Izumi Kita. She is amazing. She has the entire emotional range down.
Yeah. This is a show that hinges on this character. And she brings this character to life. For better or worse.
Yes. Apparently they're coming out with the dub for this. I kind of don't envy whoever has to follow that performance.
What, you think it's going to be like Excel? Only with raw acting talent required instead of raw screaming talent?
Something like that. I think Mad Shadow said they had made a choice, but heck if I remember. I always call Todd Habercorn John Habercorn because I don't know anime voice actors.
Well, if she's voiced by, what's her name? Everyone seems to have a hard-on for her now. She voiced Fem Shep and Samus once.
Oh, her. I don't think... This is not the right role for her.
No, it'd be amazing. We have this anime girl who's all, broken as all hell. And then out comes the awesome voice of a masculine, manly lady.
Alternately, I would love her with a prim and proper British accent as a gag dub.
That would be interesting. Especially if they do the whisper scenes.
Pardon me.
Goodbye.
Applicant.
Oh.
And then it turns into the Steve Martin Pink Panther at that point.
I would not disapprove.
So, I think that gets us through all the important parts of production.
Except for all the children they had to sacrifice.
Yes. So, point 5. Final thoughts. Burke, care to go first?
It's not bad. It's not exactly the show I would seek out on my own, but I can see where fans of this would lie, and honestly, if any of this sounds good to you, the viewers at home, check it out, honestly. It's not a bad show. It's well put together. It looks nice. Then again, shows nowadays would have to try really hard not to look nice.
See Gundam Musashi.
And it, it has really good voice acting. So, honestly, check it out if you want. It's not for everyone, though. Gonna go ahead and say that right here. I probably won't be finishing this one on my own.
Right. I might bring him along for the ride at some point, but I won't necessarily try to force him either. Because my final thoughts are, I am darned conflicted about this show, and this is, this is intentional. This is not, if the world God only knows is the feel-good thing about being a video game nerd, because someday your skills might be useful and you can apply everything you're learning in games to reality. This is the writer saying, okay, otaku, extreme nerds, 4chan dwellers, this is you.
This is what you're actually like.
This is what you're actually like. You are not a good person. You are not a nice guy. You are a horrible, judgmental person who sits in their little ivory tower, contributing nothing to the world, but demanding that the world give you everything.
Yeah.
I can see why. If you're like that, or you see that in yourself, I can see being very uncomfortable with this show. If you're somebody who has gotten over that in themselves, this show would be even better because you can sort of point and laugh at what once was. By the way, this is, we were talking about who would recommend this for. This is not anybody's starter anime.
It would be very interesting if it was. I'd like to talk to you if this is the first anime you ever saw. How did you find this?
It would always be interesting to find a friend of mine who never watches anime and make them watch it and see what they make of it.
Yeah.
Basically, to understand this show, you have to be a nerd yourself or know a lot of nerds. You have to have a sympathy for social anxiety disorder. And you have to be able to deal with the emotional whiplash of simultaneously sympathizing for and loathing the main character.
Yeah.
But judging by my reaction of, going out and buying stuff, I endorse this show. I'm not sure I would call it my favorite ever. Like, World God Only Knows hit my buttons better than this one does. But this is definitely an experience just for the performance.
Yes. It's performance art.
Pretty much. So, seek it out. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. We'll have a link on the website. And this is an interesting review to me because this is the most conflicted about something I've ever felt that I'm recommending.
I can agree. Until we do those Evangelion movies.
You're assuming I'd recommend that. In all seriousness, tune in next time. We'll probably be doing Captain Earth.
Possibly. We have no idea when this is coming out. We have no idea when that's coming out. We don't know much. We do know one thing. We're back.
Maybe.
It's good to be back.
Yep. Now, a couple little bits of housekeeping. We'll make videos about this later. Last podcast, first thing, we had a long list of requests. We're basically wiping those clean.
We might come back to it one day, but we want to keep up with some of the newer anime and some retro anime.
Right. At this point, we are not taking requests yet. We have enough ideas of our own to last us a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of our problems last time was that, we kind of fell into angry reviewer territory a lot, and most of the ones we were angry about were ones that other people recommended. This time we'd actually like to kind of seek things out that appeal to us. As crazy as that sounds.
Don't worry, those of you who love to see me pissed off, Ben already found one to piss me off. And surprise, it has dragon in the title.
Why are shows about dragons terrible?
Even Dragon Ball ends with Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah. because it became more about dragons when the Black Star Dragon Balls became monsters of the week.
Jesus.
Dragons ruin everything. Wow, and I love dragons. This is sad.
One day we're gonna find a T-Rex anime and we're gonna be golden.
Right, because dinosaurs make things better. Dragons seem to drag things down. There is no dragon equivalent of Jurassic Park, where it's an awesome monster movie. And on
You
that,
did that on purpose, didn't you?
what?
Dragons drag things down.
No, actually, I didn't. Good night, everyone.
Go away.